This meeting is being recorded. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Sunday Space Show program, West Coast time. I'm your host, David Livingston. Thank you very much for tuning in. A couple of announcements. I'm waiting for approval from guests for programs this coming week. So you're going to have to check the upcoming show menu on the right side of the Space Show website, thespaceshow.com, for programming for the coming week. I will update everything as soon as I hear from these people that are interested in having me wait. And the other thing I wanted to point out is that Manny, who is with us today, has been on and off the Space Show since we started. We met many decades ago at Space Frontier Foundation, and that's where I believe decades ago he introduced us to the idea that he was going to do a 3D virtual moon program. So I had the pleasure of doing a version of it with him at an AIAA Ascend meeting a couple of years ago in Las Vegas, and I was blown away, mainly because I didn't get sick using his virtual reality helmet. So that's a huge improvement right off the bat. But I absolutely 100% thought I was walking around on the moon, and I was right next to the limb, and I could climb up on it, and I could write my name on the gold foil. David was here. It was amazing. And so we're very happy that he is back. He's a systems engineer and an entrepreneur, and will tell us more about Virtual Moon. He is joined by Van Nedervelde, if I got that right, who is a futurist, a transhumanist, a writer, an activist. He is a big proponent of space settlement. He has been on the show before. I think it was around 2013 or something like that. I'm working to restore that particular MP3, and he is part of Virtual Moon. Manny introduced us to Virtual Moon and to your, I'm going to say, state-of-the-art virtual reality, because all the virtual reality I've used in the past does make me nauseous, does give me headaches, does bother me, but you've got the secret sauce. So welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much, David. As I said, it's a pleasure to see you again, and it was great to meet you in person a couple of years ago in Las Vegas. Thank you for the opportunity to tell your audience about our project, and also thank you everyone who's attending the Zoom call. As David said, Virtual Moon has been in the works for a long time. Actually, before Virtual Moon, there was another company that I had created called Lunar Explorer. And Lunar Explorer can lay claim to being the world's first fully immersive, fully interactive virtual reality simulation of the entire moon. Virtual Moon is something I created over 20 years ago. However, and it was a virtual reality, fully immersive application. However, people didn't have virtual reality hardware in their homes. Consumer virtual reality hadn't gotten here yet. So it was premature. But Lunar Explorer reproduced the entire surface of the whole moon. And we recreated all the Apollo landing sites, all of the Surveyor sites, and all of the Soviet landing sites, the successful landing sites. And people could visit all these locations and explore, walk among the instruments on the surface, and click on the different objects and bring up information panels about what each scientific experiment was and what did we learn about the moon, and so on. A few years later, about 10 years ago or so, virtual reality became a consumer technology. So it was time to revisit and recreate Lunar Explorer under the new name Virtual Moon. And now that there's a consumer market and millions of people have VR headsets, we can finally implement the vision that I had originally. And that's where we are now. Now, the demo that David mentioned is not a product level demo, even though he was very generous in his praise, David, and we appreciate that. And by the way, those were the videos I wanted to show you of people just going, absolutely having their minds blown. They really feel like they're on the moon. They really feel like they're watching the Apollo 11 landing. It's spectacular. I will share some links to our YouTube channel, and you can see those reactions yourselves after the Zoom call. I apologize that for some reason we could not make it work right now. But what I was saying is what David saw and what all these people are seeing is a demo product. It's a demo level creation. It's not polished. It's not meant to be a product, but it's already making an impression. So yes,
it's a beta.
Somebody had a
beta. It's a beta version. That's what you're saying, I guess, right?
Yes.
I will say, Manny was demoing it at AIAA in the section there where they have all the booths and the commercial guys and the academics and everybody selling their wares and advertising and promoting their genius and everything else. And he had a lot of people that were trying it, and Manny would let them walk around and go up to the limb, and I don't think we could climb on the limb, but it felt like we could. And I was watching, and Sherry Bell was with us, by the way, and I was watching the reaction of the people, and every single one of them said that they were on the moon. Nobody reported any distortion. So I don't know what VR helmet you were using or what happened to VR to get rid of distortion or the nausea effects. And I have eye problems, so I really I anticipated not being able to see anything. And it was really and truly 100% like I was on the moon. And since I'll never get to the moon, this is about as close as I can get to the moon. And it was real. But the other people that were trying it in the exhibit hall were having the same reaction to it. So we may not have videos of them, but it was a really cool demo.
And we've been doing that. We've been showing it pretty much all over the world. We were at ISDC in Orlando. We showed it at MIT. We've been invited 2 years in a row to the Small Set Educational Conference at Kennedy Space Center. It's the most popular. Exhibit there, and we also participated in a space settlement design competition recently here in New Jersey. We've been to the AIAA Ascent in Las Vegas. We've been to New World's Rick Tumbleson's event in Houston, with Space Economy Summit in Lisbon. We've been in the conference in Paris, and the latest one was in Tunisia. Our national ambassador for Tunisia, Dora Saidi, who's on the Zoom meeting with us, she arranged this Space Access Summit, and I went there personally to give a presentation and to talk about Virtual Moon. We also had the participation of Dr. Jeff Hoffman, who happens to be on the board of advisors of Virtual Moon. He gave a talk to the group in Tunisia. And Andy Chaikin, who's familiar to everyone on this call, I'm sure, he also participated. They're both on the board of advisors, and they've been extremely generous with their contribution to our project and to our effort. So
So Manny, if you can hear me, good. I think my mic is working. I was wondering, is this kind of like a Google Earth only for the moon, where you have high resolution imagery of the entire moon from maybe it's one of NASA satellites, or is this more like little experiences around each landing site of the Apollo spacecraft that were artistically rendered in some way?
So the ultimate goal is to create a digital twin of the moon, a place where you can go visit as if you could teleport to the surface yourself. And then once you're on the moon, what do you want to do there? So we've come up with a number of initial ideas that are pretty obvious of what people would want to do if they could actually stand on the moon. So one of them is, you probably want to go and explore all the Apollo landing sites and see what they look like today. And you might also want to drive a rover over the surface of the moon, or fly a low flying craft.
I guess, but yeah, my question is more about what is it today? Like, is it imagery from a NASA satellite, or is it something you artistically created for a specific site? What is it today?
So we're starting with the topological or digital elevation map that we have from NASA, from the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter mission, and that's our foundational layer. That's where we start. But we want to give people the experience of actually standing on the moon, on any part of the moon. So the resolution of the LRO doesn't allow us to create the experience on the surface. So I'll turn it over to Philip, and he'll explain how we are.
Somebody is trying to talk, but their audio is not acceptable. I don't know who's trying to talk, but we're not picking up your audio. It's just all garbage, gibberish.
There's people talking in the background. Mute yourself if you're not talking, please.
Sorry, that's probably me because I'm in a noisy area.
So, Philip, if you join the conversation and talk about how we're building this.
Okay, so there's multiple aspects to both what we've already built and what can be freely experienced today, and what we will be building. So everything that we're doing, we aim always for maximum accuracy, both in terms of representation of the lunar surface as the elevation, as well as historical accuracy for the missions, manned or unmanned, that we are recreating. So the Apollo 11 landing experience that you can experience today, either on a flat screen device or ideally on inside of a VR headset like a Quest, that experience, the terrain around the Apollo 11 Tranquility Base is absolutely accurate, and we derived it from the LRO data that is publicly available. And so we selected a piece of terrain that is, and we cleaned it up, and then we put it into the VR experience. So the terrain that you are seeing, the lunar terrain that you are seeing in the Apollo 11 VR landing experience, is absolutely the accurate terrain of the Tranquility Base and the surrounding lunar terrain. Now, we are in production as we speak on a next step up from the Apollo 11 VR landing experience, and we call that, it's like a package of vignette VR experiences that we call One Giant Leap. They will still be focused around the Apollo 11 flight, and I can detail the different vignettes that you will be able to experience inside of that production once it's done and available. But the big one that we're busy and that we created Virtual Moon for is the recreation, or the creation rather, of a digital twin of the entire lunar surface. So not just the Tranquility Base site, but 100% of the lunar surface. And that is a very, very heavy lift because, as Manny indicated, the LRO data is not sufficiently detailed. At best, the LRO data, so the orbit of the LRO, for starters, is not completely circular. It's slightly elliptical. And so the Selene and Selene, it comes closest to the lunar surface at the poles of the moon. And there, the data that is recorded by LRO at the poles is 10 meters square per pixel. Now, if you think that through, if you use that data without upscaling it, and you stand on the lunar surface, you will, if you stand in a pixel that happens to be white, you'll just be standing in a in a square that is white and that is 10 meters square. So that obviously won't fly. So what we intend to do, and this is a lot of mathematics, a lot of heavy lifting with AI, and specifically with generative adversarial networks. For those of you steeped in AI, etc., you may have heard of GANs. And so, but it's not just GANs. But to make a long story short, what we intend to do is to take the LRO data, all of the LRO data, clean it up because there are scanning artifacts in there that need to be removed. Later, when I show you our demo for the Selene construction site, which is at Malapert Mountain near the south pole of the moon, you'll see some of the artifacts that are in the LRO data. And so that needs to be cleaned up. And then next step, using a lot of math and AI, we will upscale the resolution of the highest resolution of LRO and make it so that when you land and you stand on the lunar surface anywhere on the moon, it will look as good, as detailed, as realistic and accurately as the Hasselblad photographs that the astronauts took on the EVAs of the Apollo missions. So that's the big goal. Technically, that's one of the big technical goals of the ultimate virtual moon. And we haven't done that yet, but so we're fundraising, etc., and we're building up to that. And every month that we wait, AI keeps getting better. So there is a convergence point where AI will be so good that we won't need that much money and that much compute to make it do what I've described here.
I have a question. I just signed up for your demo, and I noticed that I get 100 square meters of virtual moon free. Can you talk about what that means and
Sure.
yeah.
Sure. So the whole idea of virtual moon is that we want to share it with the whole world. And we want to inspire, especially the young people, about our amazing future as a spacefaring civilization. And in order to do that, we want to give them this very visceral, very, very profound and impactful experience of space. And create a personal connection. So now the moon stops being something abstract and it starts being something they can relate to personally. And I kept thinking about what are other ways of creating a personal connection. And I thought, well, yeah, if people had the opportunity to own a piece of virtual moon. So when we recreate virtual moon in very high accuracy, it looks exactly like the moon. You'll be able to pick a location on virtual moon that you like, and you can claim that for yourself if nobody has claimed it before you have. So it's also a way for us to raise funds. So we give, we give away 100 square meters, but you can purchase more property. And this is a good point to introduce the fact that Philippe mentioned that we are working on a new version of the Apollo 11 landing called One Giant Leap. This is actually our first public announcement that we're going to be releasing this in the next probably 3 months or so. So this will be a real product. Will be something that you can buy and download into your VR headset. And the price point for it is going to be about $15 or so. But if you want to pre-order, you just go to our website and say, I'd like to pre-order the One Giant Leap experience, and it'll only cost you $10. Now, when you buy the Apollo 11 One Giant Leap experience for $10, not only do you get the VR experience itself, but the $10 also comes bundled with 1,000 square meters of virtual moon property. And as a special promotion for this launch and this pre-sales, we're doubling that. So if you buy the One Giant Leap VR experience or pre-order it, once it's ready, you'll receive that for free, and then you'll also own 2,000 square meters of virtual moon property.
Can you
What
use
does that mean? What can I do with it?
Manny, can you use any headset with it? Do you have to buy a special headset? What's the deal on the virtual reality headset?
So we know it runs well on the Quest headsets, the Quest Model 2, the 3, and the 3S. We also know it runs on Pico headsets. Now, Pico is a company that manufactures headsets primarily for the educational market. They're in 10,000 schools all around the world. And we have an agreement with Pico. Once our content is ready, they will bundle it with their headsets. So immediately you will get exposure to millions of school kids all over the world. So, it's a big step towards getting us to the point where we're inspiring millions of young people about space and our future in space.
If I may,
so we know it runs on Pico. It also runs on the Apple Vision Pro. And we're asking people who will try it on other headsets to let us know if it runs on those as well. But
So-
Philippe, you may want to say something about that also.
Right. So the entire virtual moon, when we will have done what I described, will be web delivered. And so the current Apollo 11 VR landing experience is also web delivered. So in principle, it will run on any VR headset where you can boot up a web browser, and that's the case on the Pico and on the Quest, and then put in the URL for the Apollo 11 landing experience, and then you can just experience it immersively. So in principle, it should work on any VR headset capable that has a VR browser or web browsing capability. The other thing I wanted to add is that the big virtual moon project that we have yet to build is going to be like a metaverse. It will be massively multi-user, and it will be a persistent virtual world. So basically, you will be able to go and hang out with your friends on any location of the moon. You will be able to go and build stuff on a version of the virtual moon. So we will have two versions, one that reflects the actual moon as it is today, and then a meta version, meta virtual moon, where you can build anything you want on your plot of land, and then you can bring friends and you can show that to them, and you can, just like with Second Life and any other metaverse. So that's an important thing to keep in mind about the big virtual moon project, and that also explains why it needs to be web delivered.
My question is, there seems to be two holes in your mapping system, and that's one is the dark craters that never get any sunlight. How are you going to handle that one?
Well, LRO doesn't only do photography of the surface, it also does elevation. So we know what elevation there is inside of those dark craters. And so we will show probably the best way to deal with that, Marshall, is have a virtual headlight or multiple headlights, and then shine a light onto the elevation data that we have. And then, you will basically see like wherever your headlight is looking, and that will illuminate a generic gray lunar regolith view consistent with that area of the moon, because the regolith is not the same in all areas of the moon. So that's the way we would solve that. I actually should add that the virtual moon will also be updatable. So whenever there is another space agency like JAXA or the European Space Agency or the Chinese, etc., whenever they put terrain data in the public domain at a higher resolution than LRO, we can take that data, put it into the virtual moon model, and then for that area, we will be making use of that publicly available higher resolution data than LRO.
The second problem area is lava tubes. I've always had a thing for the lava tubes, and it's kind of like, okay, you get a, it's you kind of look down it, but you can't look to the sides where the tube is, and it's nice to know that you're going to be upgrading it because eventually we're going to get some data on it, but it's an interesting problem.
I have something to share with you that you guys will love this. So we've already spoken with a company that is planning a mission, an unmanned mission, to explore the lava tubes at the Lacus Mortis. I think that's a bit of a dark name because it means the lake of the dead, or Mare Mortis, or no, I think it's Lacus. And so, because that area is particularly rich with lava tubes on the moon. And so their mission is going to have an unmanned lander, and from that lander will depart an entire swarm of robots. And these robots will then go into one or more lava tubes, and they will have LiDAR on board. And so these robots will basically be beaming back 3D LiDAR scans of the interior of those lava tubes. And so what we propose to them is that we would, this assumes that we already have the virtual moon built and up and running, that we would do the following in real time, live. So imagine you have 2 or 3 robots entering a lava tube, and one of them is staying near the opening because they need to relay the data, right? But those that go inside the lava tubes, they explore it and they beam their LiDAR, and the 3D data of the LiDAR is relayed to the probe at the exit or at the entrance, and then to the lander, and then to Earth. So we will receive that data, we being the virtual moon team, we receive that data, and in real time, we will add that data into the virtual moon so that people who are in the right location on virtual moon will be able to see, as if by techno magic, the tube of the lava tube. They will start seeing the detail of its shape appear out of a digital fog, and it will basically materialize in front of their eyes live.
Can you introduce me to this company for a possible space shuttle program?
Absolutely.
Thank you. AJ, go ahead.
Yeah, so I have 2 questions. One, this is really absolutely very interesting, and it's something that can be quite a bit money making thing, giving people live access to, let's say, exploration of the they can be exploring the lava tube live, with the obviously the robot going through, and but they can still experience this, and this will be extremely exciting. People will be willing to pay hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars for an experience of this type. So that's one thing. Other question, technical question I have is, you mentioned landing of Apollo 11, simulating landing of Apollo 11. Is that actual landing while it is landing? In other words, from really, I see. So then, do you
If you
start
want,
from LLO, low lunar orbit, or you do start, say, 100 or 200 meters above the surface and then
The,
come
the
down?
current
Because
the
the
current ex, the current experience starts 4 minutes before landing,
four
and
minutes.
it's
Okay.
all done in real time
Uh-huh.
and synchronized with the soundtrack of the recording of the communications back and forth between
I
the
see.
lander and the control center in Houston. And
Hmm.
we replicated the exact path based on
Hmm.
telemetry from the mission itself, but
Hmm.
not just the exact path. We actually recreating the maneuvers of the Apollo 11. It'll tilt
Oh,
forward,
yeah.
backward to
Right.
accelerate and decelerate and
Hmm.
maneuver. And all of those maneuvers you'll be able to see in the experience.
That's very, very, very interesting. The reason I'm asking also is because, um, see, I'm designing a ways to go to the moon and then land there using human landing system or something, anything else. In my case, it's Falcon Heavy upper stage. So, is it possible then to actually do the experimental uh, uh, experimental viewing of something like that with landers, with like lander legs, and coming and landing in some place, and it if I mean that would be extremely interesting to people like NASA and others who are really trying to look into it. It will be extremely interesting to me personally, obviously, but also to other people. So I think that this is really very interesting. Thank you very much.
so if I may add to that, Dr.
Yeah.
Kothari, so as Manny indicated, in the Apollo 11 VR landing experience, which you can go and experience today on your laptop, but preferably on a VR headset, because
Mhm.
the emotional impact that we designed it to have is really maximized when you experience it in a VR headset immersively.
Mhm.
So we do the last phase of the approach and landing. You hear
Mhm.
all of the dialogue between Houston, Capcom, and the astronauts.
Mhm.
And so the NASA, all of the historical telemetry is available publicly, including at a very high level of granularity. So they
Mhm.
even show you at what moment precisely one of the RCS thrusters was activated. And so
Mhm.
we
Wow. Mhm.
replicated this in our VR simulation. So the lunar module is doing very small adjustments
Right. Yeah.
exactly according to the historical telemetry.
Mhm.
And so it's as accurate as we can get it.
Right. But you can
I mean,
extrapolate that. You can extrapolate that to say that if somebody else was to provide you with possible trajectory and all maneuvers for landing of upper stage of Falcon Heavy or whatever it is, and landing say in permanently shadowed regions or in near the equator, anywhere. I mean, you can virtually land anywhere. So
Absolutely.
that experiences would be extremely useful for Artemis 4 and 5, of NASA, I would think.
So
yes,
this is
we've had
this. Go ahead.
yeah, we've had various online calls and meetings with space companies, and we proposed exactly that we can run the
Mm.
entire mission virtually,
Ah.
from beginning to end, and
Mm.
in a very realistic way.
So
Oh, that would be very interesting actually, because well, I mean, obviously, I have a mission like that too, but it just goes to the Leo first, and then from there it goes to the moon and be captured by the moon. And so, if you can virtually capture all that, of course, this is 4 or 5 day affair, so you can't do that. But
yeah.
you have to cut it off somewhere and then pick it up again. But that would be extremely valuable, interesting, and gigantic. Actually, I would say.
Manny,
Yeah, so
are you gonna eventually add in all of the Apollo landings and then Artemis landings? Is that on your
yes.
longer scale plan?
Yes, our value proposition to all our users is that the virtual moon will be in every way identical to the real moon. So any object that we know of that is on the moon will be replicated in virtual moon.
Right. We should actually tell you more. Part of our roadmap for Virtual Moon includes not just having all the hardware there, but a complete recreation of every mission that actually landed on the moon or that orbited the moon. So, and how far do we want to take that? As far as we can. So, including in Virtual Moon, in a future version of Virtual Moon, you will be able to go to the landing site of any of the Apollo missions, and you will be able, like a fly on the wall, or actually through the eyes of the two astronauts that were on the moon, you will be able to see a 3D animation, which will be hyper photorealistic, recreating the entire EVA of every Apollo mission. Not just the first step. I mean, we will have Neil Armstrong's first historical step in 3D animation as part of One Giant Leap, but we want to go much, much further. The other thing I think is a good moment to mention here is that with Virtual Moon, we will be aiming to serve two constituencies. The primary one is consumers, is basically space settlement enthusiasts. However, we already have received distinct interest from professional people in the space industry. And so they are interested in using Virtual Moon for mission planning, for traversal calculation, for troubleshooting. Like, imagine if you had something like Apollo, like Virtual Moon during the Apollo 13 mission. What NASA did during Apollo 13 is they used physical simulators to simulate all kinds of ways of troubleshooting. But with the Virtual Moon, we will be able to do such troubleshooting simulations and emergency interventions in a physically accurate model of the entire Moon-Earth system. So part of Virtual Moon, and we already programmed that, is a orbital mechanics module, which has the correct position of Earth, Sun, and Moon all the way through the end of this century. So we already have laid the groundwork for Virtual Moon we call it Virtual Moon Pro, to also be of great service to the space industry and not just to space settlement enthusiasts.
The third people that I would mention is Disney. So I think that Disney would probably like to have a virtual moon in one of their things, and I think this will be, and it'll be very, very popular.
Okay,
so John, you have a question for our guest? John Jossi?
Yeah. Yes. I signed up to get a free demo and got an acknowledgement email saying that I had been granted 100 square meters of virtual moon, but I was never sent a link or is there a delay in getting the model out to people who request it?
Yeah, I basically at this point, we are working on a new version of the website, by the way, which will be more automated. But at this point, I receive all the requests and I send out an email, not just with a link where you can download the Apollo 11 landing, but also user instructions, like the user interface. They're simple instructions, but it helps to know, how the controls work before you get into it. So yeah, I'll send that right out to you in a couple of hours or so. John, do you own a VR headset?
I do not. So I'm gonna have to experience it on my 2D screen, but I'm thinking about getting a headset. But the thing is, they're very uncomfortable for me, and I have not. Maybe they've improved since I've tried them the last time, but I mean, I wear glasses. I can't find
Yes.
one that fits, and they're heavy on the head. It's just annoying. So,
John, I can tell you when I tried it on a couple of years ago at Ascend, and I have the same thing, and I wear crazy glasses with prisms and stuff. It was not uncomfortable. It was, I don't know what you put me in, Manny. It was not heavy. My glasses didn't have any effect. I could even hear in it, which was amazing because since I wear the hearing aids. So it was a really different experience than I've had at other conferences when I tried VR. What was the headset you put us in for that demo?
The Quest 3.
The Quest 3, okay.
Which is the more high-end model, but the 3S is just as good. And as far as fit, I wear glasses also. I put the headset over my glasses, and and it works just fine.
So,
Philip?
I wanted to say something more in reply to Dr. Kothari's mention of Disney. So we will have in the fully fledged virtual moon, we will also have built-in games. In One Giant Leap, we will already have Land the Eagle as a game where you can basically measure your skill against that of Neil Armstrong in landing the Apollo 11 Eagle on Tranquility Base. But other games that we've already designed them, but we haven't built them yet. One of them is Lunar Racing. So basically, you will be able to race with other people on real lunar terrain in an open country rally style, and you will be able to take air as you jump over little hills because the physics will be accurate and it will be 1/6 gravity. So that's one game that we will have in there, Lunar Racing. And another game will be a treasure hunt where you need to go and find different locations on the moon and answer certain questions. And you can do that single user or you can do that multi-user. But another game that we thought of is one that would kind of tie into the Hollywood movie industry because if you remember the movie Ad Astra with Brad Pitt, so that had some really fascinating lunar terrain, and some of the later Apollo missions also had quite spectacular hilly and mountainous terrain. So when we have built the entire virtual moon, we will need people to go and scout for locations. What are the most picturesque, visually stimulating, visually engaging terrains and canyons and lava tubes? So what is the prime real estate of the moon in terms of really picturesque locations that would be great for to work as sets for the Hollywood industry? And so one opportunistic revenue stream that we would have is that we would be able to offer Hollywood studios real lunar terrain that is super spectacular and that they can start using in movies that happen that are located on the moon. So they cannot take a studio there, but with our super photorealistic and high resolution terrain models, we can sell them something that they can use to make a very realistic and actual real lunar terrain that is visually absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, it's just really incredible that you've connected a revenue stream to something which is really we have not been able to do for a long time, But I think
Yeah.
that this way, I guess, twerking interest of the people in general. I mean, I would think that 100 million people on the earth would be interested in something like this out of 8 billion or whatever. So, I mean, and they
Yes.
would be willing to pay, even if it is a small amount. If the number is, I mean, this could be a huge multi-million, 100 million, 200 million type of a stream for you guys. I
Yes.
really hope that that does happen. We can
By
go
the
in that
way,
direction.
Dr. Kothari, if you know any investors, maybe you'd like to bring this message to them yourself.
Yeah, well, yeah, I would be interested myself. So.
And,
But
and
if you
just
are
to,
going into the digital assets business, and you are selling your assets to creators and possibly game developers, it sounds like you're working with game developers to make some of these games. And certainly, I think digital creators, influencers who want to make video of on the moon of different things would love to work with you. Do you have like a pitch that's targeting these creators, these people who are
Not yet.
experts on the on rendering, and like how would you pitch what your product is?
Not yet, but that's definitely part of the plan in due course. As to working with game developers, my livelihood for over 35 years now, Philip, is the creation of virtual reality. So I'm the CTO and head of production of Virtual Moon. So all the demos and stuff that we've built so far and that we are building is built under my leadership with my team. And so I've done virtual reality production and virtual worlds, multi-user metaverse production for over 35 years. And we've been lucky to have been recognized by the industry with several awards over those three and a half decades.
but
Very good.
yes, the potential is there for us to do licensing deals with people that want to access the content we've created for sure, and that's one possible business area where we can generate revenue. One point I wanted to make real quick before we move away to a different conversation is, as Philip was saying, as you're scouting for good locations. By the way, if you find a location that you particularly love and you have ownership rights to a certain plot of land on the moon, if nobody has claimed that plot, that can be yours. It can be yours forever. Now you own that piece of virtual moon, and then you can develop it, do construction on it, or just keep it as in its natural state. Yeah. So yeah, go ahead, David.
Do you also see expanding this? I mean, probably be far into the future to other destination sites that we are able to gather realistic topography information. I mean, maybe we don't have enough to say do Titan or something like that, but maybe while you're developing this in 10 years, maybe something will show up where we have that kind of capability. Would you make another version of this, just throwing out Titan, for example?
Can I take that one, Manny?
Yeah,
Sure.
anybody.
So Mars is the obvious one. And so there already is an MRO orbiting Mars, the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. And so that is already piping data. I don't think it's done a full sweep of Mars yet, but it's maybe getting close to that. And so yes, when after we've done Virtual Moon, we will be very interested in doing all the other celestial bodies of the solar system. And actually, from a scientific point of view and sci-tech point of view, the algorithm that we are developing for Virtual Moon will be of interest to spacefaring vehicles going through the solar system, but especially in the farther future that will go to exoplanets, because as the ship is approaching the exoplanet, the onboard telescopes will be able to capture more and more detailed versions of the surface of the exoplanet, and our algorithm will be able to upscale that realistically, and of course it's an interpretation, but as the ship approaches, the resolution of the virtual exoplanet will become usable long before they actually enter the stellar system of that exoplanet, for the people on board of that ship to start doing mission planning and landing planning and terraforming planning.
Philip, I sent you a couple of links to the videos of people experiencing it. If you can bring them up and share those,
Maybe Philip can share them on his screen share.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let me do the first one for that. David, I'm going to share the screen, my screen, if you can approve it for...
yeah, we see it.
Okay. So I don't know if
you... Ascent, yeah.
The direction of the sun, but too far away and back.
Do you get the audio also if I switch on the audio?
In history.
I love it. Now, if I hit this again, the brackets will go away, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. That's very helpful. I'm so tempted to look around too.
Yeah, you can
walk. Leave me here like this.
You can walk around. Look.
I don't want to.
This is Dan Flores, by the way. He's a best-selling science fiction author.
Look straight up, 90 degrees.
Oh, the star's gonna
straight up.
That's the Earth.
So all the visual elements, everything that you could see from that spot.
Oh, I love it. This is really cool. This is why you probably see me go by.
I'm taking a video of you. Is that okay?
Yeah. Let me see it if you're
sure
before you post anything.
He's been on the space show, by the way, several times as a guest.
Yeah. Who is this guy?
Daniel Suarez, a sci-fi author, very famous, and he's been on the show multiple times.
Yeah, his voice sounds familiar.
He wrote Delta V. Delta V author.
The series, yeah.
Andy, this is really cool.
Is that the Quest headset that you're talking about?
Yeah.
So this is the Quest 2. It works better on the Quest 3 or 3S.
Yeah.
How much is it, the cost of Quest 3?
This is cool.
I think a Quest 3 goes for like $400 or so now.
Oh, really? Not too bad.
The 3S is $350. They just raised the price on it because of the chip.
Well, you've got the motor running, but yeah, you're right. There's no little thruster motors.
Yeah, you can't see it.
Yeah, you can't. Okay.
Even if you were there, you couldn't see it. It's just.
Oh, this is so cool.
All right, so well, I think we can stop it here, Philip. So you've heard him say multiple times, "This is so cool. I love this." This is the kind of reaction we get. Yes, if you could play the next one is the best reaction we've ever had to the Apollo 11 landing.
With it?
Yes.
With it?
Yes. I'm sorry. No.
What is she holding in her hand? Is that the control button?
Yeah, the controller.
Wow. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a different headset, right?
Right. Different positions of the joystick.
Yeah, that's the Quest 3.
So that looks a little bit lighter than the other one.
Yes, it is. It's got the new pancake lenses. That's one of the things that makes it more expensive.
Have you,
Gotta
have
tell
you
you.
spotted the Earth yet?
Yes, it's there.
Uh,
And here is the sky, and like you can see all the stars and all the details. It's like it's amazing. And even like details from the moon. I didn't know it was like this. It's so real that I start to like. Oh.
I think that's good, Philip. So this goes on like this for 5 minutes, and again, we'll share the YouTube channel, and you can see this and other videos that we have up as well.
You have her phone number?
She's actually an ambassador for us in Bolivia. So we have ambassadors now in let's see, in Tanzania, in Tunisia, in India, in the Congo, in Ecuador, and Nigeria. So we're ambassadors are joining us from all over the world, and these ambassadors are supposed to visit schools near where they are, and go with their. I've been able to buy some headsets myself. I purchased them myself and shipped them to our ambassadors around the world, and so they go and visit schools where they are, and they put the headsets on these kids, and the kids in these faraway countries get to have this amazing experience of being on the moon. And we want to grow
So that
this.
looks like a super highway there. Is there a bunch of rovers with headlights going through the hills there? Is that what that is?
Let me explain what you're looking at. So this is what we call the Selene City construction site. So it's a virtual reality scene centered on Malapert Mountain, which is the tallest mountain of the south pole of the moon. And so this is this is real-time rendered. And so I'm in orbiting mode, and I can zoom out and in on the piece of moon based on LRO data. So you see the square that we got out of LRO, and the shimmering road goes from the top of Malapert Mountain, inside of which Selene City is built. Selene City, Manny will tell you about Selene. That's his brainchild. But the shimmering path that you see going from the top of Malapert Mountain all the way to the rim of Shackleton crater is basically what we think of as Lunar Highway 1. This is a calculation of the path with a safe incline throughout the entire path, going from the top of Malapert Mountain. It's not a steep hill, but you still need to watch out. And so this is a navigation that is navigable by the lunar rover of the Apollo missions, which could only take up to a certain level of incline. And so this, if you were to drive this at the top speed of the lunar rover, it would take you 4.5 hours to go from Malapert Mountain all the way to the rim of Shackleton crater. Now, let me zoom in on this. And so this orbiting camera is centered on the top of Malapert Mountain. But here you see a little bit closer what that looks like. If I keep zooming in, we go to the top of Malapert Mountain. Well, actually, remember that I said that there are artifacts in the LRO data? You see these lines? That's not aliens on the moon. That's artifacts of LRO data. So, and in this model, we've illuminated the scene from various angles, positions of the sun. And so this is a construction site that is also still in construction as a VR scene. And so we haven't done the complete, every bit of the terrain at the full resolution yet. As we orbit around, I will show you more details of the artifacts that we get in Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter data. watch the illuminated side of the hill of Malapert Mountain. So you see, as we come around and I zoom in here, you see these striations, these lines. Those are basically artifacts of the scan lines, if you like, of the LRO orbiter. These show the ground track of orbits, and you see, for example, here it even creates little linear
Shooter something.
Yes. So basically, here you see it quite clearly. You see all that data. That is those are scanning artifacts of LRO. And when we do virtual moon fully, we need to first clean up the LRO data so that all of these artifacts are gone. Because obviously we don't want to give anybody ideas of yeah, exactly. And so, and after we have look at this line, you see,
Look at that line, yeah.
yeah, it's a sequence of hills that are just not there. It's just artifacts in the LRO data. And
It'd be a boulder just rolling down.
Yes,
Marshall,
well,
doesn't that look like your tractor tracks going across the moon?
yeah, so if it were one boulder doing that, yes, but you see how many lines there are right next to each other, and so it's just LRO data capture artifacts. You want to say more about Selene, Manny?
Yes. Yeah. So one thing about virtual reality is that it's really a magic technology, right? So we're just like we can travel back in time to 1969 and be present and witness this really important moment in history as a first person viewer. We can travel to the future. And again, we want to inspire young people about our future as a spacefaring civilization. So the concept behind Selene is a very advanced, very large city on the moon, built to accommodate 5,000 people. So it leapfrogs all of the current plans for small scale settlements and research stations and lunar bases and so on. We're looking at the next thing, what comes after that. And a large scale city on the moon for 5,000 people is this concept that we're going to, it's going to be a feature in Virtual Moon. So Virtual Moon, you can travel to the moon, but you can also travel through time. So if you can travel to the year 2045, you can go inside Selene and visit Selene and experience what a very large city on the moon will look like. Now, it'll be fully immersive virtual reality. You can walk around and explore the entire city. Actually, you can meet your friends there and go all exploring together because it'll be all multiplayer, fully interactive, and so on. But it's more than just a visual simulation. Selene is going to be an engineering simulation. We're going to build digital twins of all of the critical systems, life support, power, thermal management system, communications, everything that it takes to have a working large-scale lunar city is going to be created as an engineering model, a fully integrated engineering model, because the other thing we want to prove is the feasibility of building such a city. It's going to be, we're going to challenge engineers to come up with the most bold and daring design, but the constraint is it's going to have to be buildable. It can't be something so beyond our capabilities that it's only science fiction. It's got to be something that we can build in the year 2045. So that's the concept behind Selene, and we're going to build it in virtual reality first. But again, it'll be a design that we could actually build here on Earth to try out all the systems, and then eventually you could actually build this on the moon by the year 2045. So we're restricting the design to existing technology only, or technologies that can reasonably expect will evolve to full maturity in time to build Selene. But it's a spectacular thing. Now, the other thing behind Selene is it's designed as a resort destination for people to go on vacation mostly. Now, the reason behind that is because robotics is already evolving very quickly. Like Tesla's Optimus robot is already a very capable platform, but we're only in 2026. So in another 20 years, we believe that robotics is going to evolve to the point where it'll have capabilities beyond human beings. It'll be more agile, stronger, faster, and it'll be guided by AI, so it can do troubleshooting and real-time problem solving all on its own with minimal or no human interference. So if you have robotics that can do all the work necessary on the moon, why would you ever want to send human beings to the moon? Why would anybody ever want to go to the moon? So the reason is people will want to go to the moon to experience the moon, to experience being on the moon.
Right.
And that's the concept behind Selene.
Right.
If I may say something, you all probably know Carlos Galan Garcia from NASA, who talked about lunar base phase 1, 2, 3. And I think I will be very good to connect that plan with your plan, especially the phase 3. Phase 3 ends around 2036. And, and they're bringing in the fusion power and all those other things too in there.
Yes.
And communications and all that. And so that would be very, very interesting to connect that. And I would think that your 2045 timeline would probably be 2055 or 60. But it would be very interesting to connect the two, which will be, look at that. It's very interesting. Yeah, connect the two.
So
and his name is Carlos Galan. Carlos Galan Garcia. He's the head
Galan
of
with
the...
a V?
Huh? Carlos Galan with a G.
Oh, Galan Garcia.
Galan. And Garcia is the last name. And he's in charge of the lunar base for NASA it was. Yeah.
We'll reach out to him.
Oh, that'll be great. Yeah.
By the way, if you get a chance to visit our website and look at the board of advisors that we have been able to sort of entice to connect with our project, we have been really fortunate to get like world-class advisors for this project, which include Dr. Jeff Hoffman that I had mentioned before. Some of you will know that he's a retired NASA astronaut, currently teaches at MIT, and he was one of the astronauts who repaired the Hubble Space Telescope. We also have Andy Chaikin that I mentioned before also, and Eric Rosenthal. Eric Rosenthal was a former professor at NYU, but before that, he was a VP of Disney Imagineering. And he also has his own company. He does a lot of consulting work and research work with NASA as well. Let's see, we have
Dennis Wingo is on that.
Dennis Wingo, yes.
Jim Logan,
yeah. So these people, I just told them about the project, and I told them that we'd like to use them as advisors because they have deep knowledge in a lot of the areas that we need to build Virtual Moon the way it should be built. And they were interested and inspired enough by the project to agree to join the team.
Have you guys heard of GRU Space, Galactic Resource Utilization Space?
I have not.
It's a small startup that was spun out of Y Combinator, young guy that heads that. The name's escaping me right now, but they want to be the first to build a hotel on the moon.
I think his name is Kim something.
Right. And they're working on in situ resource utilization, making bricks out of lunar regolith to build their hotel. And they might be someone you want to connect with. They could probably use some of your simulations for promotional materials.
Well, thank you for that. I am taking notes, and we will follow up with them. Thank you so much, Sean.
What is the next step for Virtual Moon?
So the next step is this release of the One Giant Leap, and we'd like to describe a little more about it. So One Giant Leap builds on the Apollo 11 landing experience. You'll get, first of all, we're building it from scratch using a gaming engine. And so the visual quality, the level of detail, everything will be massively improved from what you saw already, David, and from what everybody is experiencing. But we'll also include a lot of additional content. And Philippe already mentioned we're going to show a vignette of Neil Armstrong jumping off of the ladder down to the footpad and taking his first steps on the moon and saying the famous words. And then we're also going to have the liftoff, the ascent stage liftoff from the moon. You'll be able to watch that. Also, again, exactly recreated exactly as it happened. And Philip also mentioned there'll be a mini game inside of that where you can yourself try your hand as a lunar landing module pilot and see how well you do landing the lunar module. And we'll also have some interactive experiments. So one of them, you'll be able to trigger a laser pulse that will be transmitted from the Earth, and you'll be able to watch the laser pulse travel from the Earth, bounce off of the retroreflectors, and go back to Earth again, and measure the distance from the Earth to the Moon that way. And we're doing some interesting viewing aspects with that. Philip, maybe you want to describe that? You're probably better at it.
Right. So the existing Apollo 11 VR landing experience is completely free, and all you need is the link, the URL, and you can experience it on your flat screen laptop or even on your phone or in a VR headset. The One Giant Leap will build on that, as Manny indicated, and so it will be like a package of multiple vignettes which kind of go through the top of the pops, all of the major firsts that were achieved by Apollo 11. So it starts with a new and improved version of the Apollo 11 VR landing experience. Then the next vignette is you basically experience the first step on the moon either through the eyes of Neil Armstrong, so you will see his arms moving and the ladder in front of him, so as he speaks the historic words, or you can be a fly on the wall and a disembodied viewpoint looking at over his shoulder, or you can basically experience that scene. It will be the next best thing to being there then. And one other vignette is after you've done the Apollo 11 VR landing experience, you can try your own hand at landing the Eagle. That will be called Landing the Eagle. And then we will also show the launch, the first time that a rocket, a manned rocket, was launched from the moon, from another celestial body. You will basically be able to see that in glorious Technicolor immersive VR as an eyewitness to that historic first as well. After the ascent stage has left the moon, the next vignette we offer is Tranquility Base Today. So using the time on your device, we know on what date and hour you are accessing it. We recreate the Tranquility Base scene as it is right now. And so basically you get to stand on the tranquility base as it would be right now if you had a space vehicle and a spacesuit to go there. You would see
or a teleporter.
Or a teleporter. You would see the American flag laying flat on the surface. You would see the discoloration of the American flag. It would be completely white instead of the red and white stripes. And you would see the pile of the pliss, the backpacks that Neil and Buzz threw out of the hatch just before taking off. So you would see, basically, to the best of our knowledge and to the limit of the photographic and videographic record, you would see the Tranquility Base exactly as it is today. Then when you approach the laser range retroreflector experiment, you would be offered to actually use it and to play a little edutainment game where you can order a laser, which will be green colored. That's the color they have in real life as well. And that laser will fire from Earth, which you can see overhead. And you will have a visualization of that laser beam approaching. You can do a slow-mo, so you can see the beam approaching. And then you will be able to look at the beam hitting the retroreflector and then being beamed back to Earth, and all at the same time with an overlay, with a head-up display. You will be seeing the distance traveled, etc., by the light from Earth to the moon and back. And then at the end of that, you will see a calculation of the distance between the Earth and the moon. And so the light, the green laser light, will be shown in multiple ways. One where the green laser is a wave, and the other where the green laser is particles, photons. And so you will basically see a big cylinder of photons hitting the area around the retroreflector as the laser beam arrives from Earth on the moon and gets reflected partially back to Earth.
Yeah, I have a question. These things require lots of calculations, obviously, to be able to do this live, especially live and all that. And I used to when I was doing hypersonic flow calculations, and we required grids of the order of 10 million or millions or something like that, and then we do the calculation. But this, it looks to me like, would require even more than that. I don't know, maybe more or less than that. And then how do you do these calculations that fast for it to be live dynamically?
So okay, fair question. The laser retroreflector thing that I just described, it doesn't send a laser.
No, not that. I'm not asking about that. I'm asking about, when you are on let's say you are on the surface and you are rotating. And so when you are doing that, you are looking at different grid points, basically, and so that has to be changing all the time with different pixels, basically different pixels you are looking at. And so they have to be changing with time in terms of how dark they are, how much light they have, etc., depending on where you're looking. So how
real-time rendering.
Huh? Real-time
rendering.
Right, yeah. That would require a lot of computation power. Is that correct?
Well, we are showing people a simulation of that laser beam being shot. And so we will make it as realistic as possible, but we will do a calculation one time, and then we just play it back as a loop. It will just be a playback of that laser beam coming.
Yeah.
And so we don't need to do a physics accurate calculation every time that somebody plays that game inside of virtual reality.
I think Dr. Kothari is asking about real-time rendering of complex geometry.
Yeah, right. Yeah, not about. Yeah, exactly. So how do you do that? That requires a lot of calculations. live. I mean, I would think, but you are probably able to do that. Obviously, you are able to do that. But, like AI, it
GPU.
requires, a lot of power. And
So
does your also chips require a lot of power?
So this is a technical question of how you do real-time rendering of hyper photorealistic graphics
Yeah,
inside
yeah,
VR
I guess.
or on a phone. So there's many ways of doing that. We will have multiple different modes. One of them will be using Cloud XR, which is
Hmm.
a cloud rendering where a very beefy GPU at a data center is
Hmm.
doing all the
Yeah,
heavy lifting for the
yep,
graphics and
that's
then
right.
piping that to your
Back to
phone
your phone or
or
whatever,
your VR
something.
head. Right.
Right,
So
right, right. Okay, very, yeah,
that
that's
might
good.
cost a little bit extra. If you don't have, if you want just the basic version, we will just
Hmm.
use the GPU on your PC or on
Yeah,
your device, and you will get the best available graphics at a high frame rate that your device can compute
yeah,
locally.
right. Very good. Thank you.
Manny, Philip, we got about 10 minutes making up the time we lost before. Um, have we missed anything that you wanted to share with us? Is there something we should be asking you and any of the people remaining with us in the wisdom team area? This is your chance to speak out if you haven't spoken.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention again that our virtual moon ambassador program is one of the key aspects of what we're doing, because we're all about outreach. We're all about reaching every child that we can anywhere on the planet and bringing this amazing inspirational experience uh, to them that they would otherwise not have. And we expect that this will grow exponentially over the next couple of years or so, and we'll have ambassadors all over the world. So it's a big effort that we're making in that direction. Also wanted to mention that we are at various stages of discussion with science museums and so on about having permanent exhibits or installations where people who don't have their own headsets, they can go to these science museums and have this experience there.
Mhm.
And and that's basically it. Also, um, remember to if you like what we're doing, if you support us. One way to support us is just to go to our website and sign up with your name and email address, and
Mhm.
that's already. And then spread the word. Let everybody that you know about Virtual Moon and what we're doing. If you want to further support us, you can purchase Virtual Moon property, which is very reasonable. It's 1 penny per square meter, and as I said, if you want to pre-order the One Giant Leap um, app for your VR headset, we have a special promotion around that as well. Um, and just let people know about us. That's the main thing.
Mhm.
Are
Very
you
good.
going to be in languages other than English?
Yes. We intend to support as many languages as possible, and with AI, that should be relatively easy to support
Mm.
125 or more languages.
Mm.
Do you get any feedback from NASA, from Isaacman, anything like that, or is he too soon on the job, too new on the job?
I have met him and took a picture with him, and told him about Virtual Moon. He asked me to get in contact with him through X, and I have been sending him messages, but understandably he's very busy. But we keep trying. We're we're committed to seeing this through to the end. I am, and Philip is
Mhm.
as well. And like you said, David, I've been at this a long time, so I'm not giving up.
What's your
So
day job? It clearly isn't Virtual Moon.
what's that?
Your day job, what are you? You're an engineer during your day job, right?
Oh yes, yes. I work for a utility company, electric utility company, but that's coming to an end very soon, within about a year or so, and then I'll be just full-time Virtual Moon.
Great. Do you have a newsletter where people can follow the progress of what you're doing, or how do we follow you if we want?
Yes, if you sign up on Virtual Moon, go to the website. And by the way, the website gives you buttons where you can just join or ask questions or donate. And that's another thing. A new website will be coming online in the next few weeks or so. But the one that we have now is fully functional. So yeah, if you sign up with your name and email address, we're going to start publishing newsletters, keeping everybody up to date on how the project is going, and sharing feedback from users and so on. That's coming soon.
Anyone else have a comment or question for Manny or Philip?
Are you going to the ISDC in early June and showcase this thing? I mean, that would be pretty interesting to those people there, I would think, but it may be
I was
a
there
little too soon.
I was there last year, and like I gave you a list of all the events and conferences I've already attended this year, which I think I'm about 10 or so. Unfortunately, I can't go to every place we should be.
Yeah.
But that's another thing our ambassadors help us with. They represent Virtual Moon at different conferences around the world. Our ambassador from Ecuador, Lucia Valenzuela, she was just in Germany, speaking at a conference there, and she let people know about Virtual Moon. So, the word is going to get out. Is going to get out, and is going to scale up, and hopefully we'll be ready for the demand as it comes in.
Yeah.
Manny, you've done a great job over the years. I know it's taken you probably the better part of your working career lifetime. And I look forward to your continuing to do it. It's an exciting project and really exciting when I tried it at AIAA. So I commend you on it, and we'll stay in touch, and we'll look forward to bringing more news to the audience when you have it ready to do it. And same with you, Phil, too.
Thank you
And the
so
key
much.
to our success, of course, has been being connecting with Philippe, who is a pioneer in virtual reality technology and passionate about space and the moon as much as I am. So without him, this could not happen. So that's been the key to our being able to make this much progress so far, and to be able to see this through to the end.
Great. Manny, thanks for reaching out, and Philip, good to talk to you again. And everybody else, watch our newsletters to see who wins the lucky draw to return to the show. I don't know that a lot of people like facing a team of people, Manny. What are yours and Philip's thought? Getting random questions, nothing scripted. You don't know what anyone's going to ask. I'm getting some feedback that all they want to do is come on and talk to me and promote their product. They don't sort of want to face what William Buckley used to call the firing squad, for those of you who remember William Buckley. But
William Buckley Jr.
Yeah, but there seems to be some blowback to wanting to be questioned by a lot of people if what you want to do is promote your business. But you guys seem to blend in with it really naturally. So I don't know. I like the format, but any thoughts on that?
I'm totally comfortable, like a fish in water here. I feel among like minds and spiritual brothers, space enthusiasts. So I'm totally comfortable. I loved it.
Thank you.
We we love talking to people about our project, of course, and love answering all the questions. Love all the interest shown. So thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Everybody have a great rest of the weekend. As we like to say, keep looking up. And if you've got the helmet on, you look directly up. Is that the key? You look straight.
Absolutely.
And you need to get a deal with Quest where you can get discounts for people if they get it through you or you promote it or something. I don't know if you want to do that to the exclusion of other products, but I was really impressed with that helmet. So it's worthwhile maybe pursuing that. Everybody else, thank you very much, and goodbye from the space show.
Thank you so much for having us, David. Ad Astra.
Everybody.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Thank you.